on a free and open Indo-Pacific is to ensure peace and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific region and beyond, through establishing a free and open order based on the shared values and principles such as the rule of law. It's my various pleasure welcome to all 2 days international conference and this inaugural session titled Japan's Vision in the Free and Open Indo-Pacific. So may I request to for our national anthem, please stand. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, for your information, our chief guest, His Excellency Dr. A.K. Abdul Momin, Member of the Parliament, Honorable Foreign Minister, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Bangladesh, joined in virtually, and he's already connected. And we welcome to our conference. And now, may I request our Honorable Acting Vice Chancellor, Professor Niaz Ahmed Khan, to give accompany all of our distinguished guests to come on the stage. Sir. Please, our Honorable Acting Vice Chancellor, Independent University, Bangladesh, Professor Niaz Ahmed Khan, His Excellency Itu Naoki, Ambassador of Japan in Bangladesh, His Excellency Dr. Atsushi Shunami, the President of Sasakawa Peace Foundations, please come on the stage. And His Excellency Dr. Dr. Tomonari Akamatsu, Director, Ocean Policy Research Institute, the Sasakawa Peace Foundation. Please come on the stage. So may I request to our all distinguished guests to have a seat, please. Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to request Mr. Ambassador Tarek Karim, Director, Center for Bay of Bengal Studies, Independent University of Bangladesh, to moderate this session. This session's title is Japan's Visions in the Free and Open Indo-Pacific. Sir, Ambassador Dr. Tarek Karim.
Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. Ohayo gozaimasu. I warmly welcome all guests here. Our foreign minister is already online, so without much ado, I'm going to do a little bit of improvisation because he has a cabinet meeting to go to. So first, I'll request the acting Vice Chancellor, Professor Niaz Ahmed Khan, to deliver his welcome. Then we will proceed. We will ask the foreign ministers to join. The Honorable Foreign Minister of Japan will also be joining us online, and then we'll proceed with the rest of the program.
Salam and good morning, everyone. It's my distinct privilege to stand before you to welcome each of you to this important conference. We have the privilege of online presence of our chief guest, Dr. A.K. Momen, MP, the Honorable Foreign Minister of Bangladesh, who has taken time out of his busy schedule to be with us today, albeit virtually. We also have the presence of His Excellency, the Honorable Foreign Minister of Japan, Mr. Hayashi Yoshimasa. Again, our heartfelt thanks to him. Today we have truly a starry audience. We have among us the Honorable Ambassador of Japan to Bangladesh, His Excellency Mr. Ito Naoki. We also have among us the President of Sasakawa Peace Foundation, Japan, our long-standing friend, His Excellency Dr. Atsushi Tsunami. And we also have the Director of the Ocean Policy Research Institute of Japan, Dr. Akamatsu, again a long-standing friend of IUB and Bangladesh. We have among us today present professors and academics from a number of major universities, my colleagues in administration and in the faculty at IUB, the media personnel, the government officials, both representing Japan and Bangladesh, the media personnel, and all of you who have made your time to be with us, and we remain deeply thankful. This event is important for several reasons. First, Bangladesh and Japan have a checkered and rich history of bilateral friendship and collaboration. Through thick and thin, these two nations have waded together. One most striking case in point in the recent history is the events of Holy Artisan and the aftermath. Despite sustaining enormous blow and suffering, the way Japan as a nation, as a country, still stood beside Bangladesh is truly a laudable experience for both the countries. I take this opportunity of the presence of the Honorable Ambassador among us to pass on our heartfelt thanks and gratitude for this time-tested friendship and goodwill that these two countries enjoy. Thank you, Ambassador. Secondly, the importance of blue economy, and within the broader context of blue economy, the importance of understanding and exploring our very own Bay of Bengal is becoming more and more clear to us. It is now unequivocally established that Bay of Bengal has latent potentials, but the way to make the most of it is still not that clear to us. And here comes the role of further research. Research and exploration will have to complement the high hopes, the political rhetoric that we have on Bay of Bengal needs to be now translated into action through research and practice. This event, the international conference today and tomorrow, is our very modest way to contribute to the relative vacuum of research and academic exploration in this area. The third point, which is very specific to IUB, and I just want to take this opportunity to also inform all our good friends and colleagues present here, that IUB has put Bay of Bengal as one of the central focus of our research portfolio. We have established a dedicated center, which is the co-host today, the Center for Bay of Bengal Studies, which is led by a very distinguished member of the Bangladesh Diplomatic Corps, a former member, turned academic, my good friend, Ambassador Tariq Karim, and a host of researchers that pivot around this center. We have received substantial support from the people of Japan through the Sasakawa Foundation and more specifically the Ocean Policy Research Institute in terms of furthering research into Bay of Bengal through IUB and the Center for Bay of Bengal Studies. The most recent example would be the development of a climate and vulnerability risk assessment framework and an index which can be used to see the vulnerability status of our port cities. We started with Chittagong, Chattogram, and with the collaboration of Chattogram City Corporation and the affiliated institutes, including the University of Chittagong, we have just completed a first round of development of this index, and we have started sharing this index more widely with the most relevant stakeholders. And needless to say that we remain deeply thankful to OPRI and the Sasakawa Foundation. And again, I take this opportunity to personally thank on behalf of this university and on behalf of Bangladesh. And I have the privilege of appreciating Dr. Atsushi Tsunami, the president of Sasakawa Foundation, and the director of OPRI, the Ocean Policy Research Institute, Dr. Akamatsu. We remain deeply thankful for your kind presence and the support that you have rendered to IUB. We hope this will continue and this will flourish beyond IUB to reach out to other wider stakeholders. With that, I would wish that all of you would continue this opportunity to work jointly for the betterment of Bay of Bengal and the littoral countries, especially given the focus of SDG 14 to be specific, but also when you think of the climate implications, SDG 13, this conference is most timely posited. And we hope that with all your support, we'll be able to push forward the agenda of Bay of Bengal serving the wider community. And we hope that this partnership will flourish into many other dimensions and ramifications over the years. Once again, we are deeply thankful and very honored to be able to welcome each of you to IUB, and I hope that the rest of the proceedings today and tomorrow will be fruitful. Thank you for your kind presence. God bless.
Thank you very much, Acting Vice Chancellor, for your kind remarks and words of inspiration to us. I hope these set the tone and tenor of the rest of the discussions to follow. The Sasakawa International Conference is being jointly organized by the Center for Bay of Bengal Studies of the IUB in collaboration with the Ocean Policy Research Institute of the Sasakawa Peace Foundation. And we have the privilege of having both the head of the Sasakawa Peace Foundation, Dr. Atsushi Tsunami, and also the head of the Ocean Policy Research Institute of the SPF, Dr. Tomonari Akamatsu. We already have the foreign minister online, and he has to go for a cabinet meeting. So I will, without much ado, first offer the host foreign minister to deliver his remarks. He will be followed by our guest, chief guest from Japan, His Excellency Mr. Hayashi Yoshimasa, Honorable Foreign Minister. So may I request Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen MP, Foreign Minister of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, to deliver his remarks.
Thank you. Sorry, the new modern technology, the host was not, allowing me to unmute. Anyway, thank you. Vice Chancellor of IUB, Sakakawa Peace Foundation, the leaders of Sakakawa Peace Foundation, distinguished guests, Lady Excellencies, Sakakawa Peace Foundation, the leaders of Sakakawa Peace Foundation, distinguished guests, Lady Excellencies, Sakakawa to address this international conference on ensuring a sustainable blue economy in an open and interconnected international conference on Japan-Bangladesh sustainable blue economy in an open and interconnected synergizing latent potentials among South and Southeast Asian Bay of Bengal, littoral and adjacent countries. Potentials among South and very timely initiative, Bay of Bengal. Last week, it had a very successful the Indian Ocean Rim Association Ministerial meeting in Dhaka. And I therefore thank the organizers of the Indian Ocean Rim Association Ministerial meeting in Dhaka. Distinguished guests, thank the organizers. As we know, 3/4 of the world is ocean, and our lives are inextricably connected to oceans. It regulates our climate and weather, generates half of our oxygen, and provides food and livelihoods for billions of people worldwide. Yet, the health of the ocean is under threat and provides food and livelihoods. The impacts of greenhouse gas emissions, including ocean warming and acidification, make it clear that the climate crisis is also an ocean crisis and, of course, a humanitarian crisis. The world now understands that healthy oceans are critical for sustaining life, eliminating poverty, and promoting prosperity. They define a make or break significance for Bangladesh. Only a meter rise in the sea level would result into inundation of more than 1/3 of the most fertile lands of the country, and the displacement of more than 20 to 30 million of its residents. That will create a global security problem. Distinguished audience, the existence of human race will be in peril if the marine ecological system is disrupted. We need to respond very quickly to tackle these challenges. Keeping these in mind, the government of Bangladesh has declared an area totaling approximately 10% of its exclusive economic zone as the marine protected areas, implemented its national plan of action to eliminate illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing in 2019, including banning of destructive fishing. The government has also amended Bangladesh Ship Recycle Act of 2018 and set a target of compliance of the Hong Kong Convention by 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, optimal use of marine resources, categorized as blue economy, has been recognized as one of the key components of sustainable development. Bangladesh considers blue economy as one of the cornerstones of its economic growth and socio-economic development. It has been identified as one of the essential drivers for development in our current 8th five-year plan. Bangladesh recognizes the true potential of its marine resources and has developed an integrated maritime policy that acknowledges the interlinkages that exist between the different domains and functions of its seas, oceans, and coastal areas. Bangladesh also values the importance of sound science, innovative management, effective enforcement, meaningful partnership, and robust public participation as important elements of the blue economy. Bangladesh has already approved measures and committed for harnessing marine resources sustainably under blue economy for inclusive development. At this development stage, we need support, assistance, guidance, technical expertise, cooperation, and investment for sustainable exploration and exploitation of marine resources, and also to flourish different unexplored marine sectors. Distinguished guests, in the context of Bay of Bengal, we need to develop a cooperative mechanism among the littoral states to promote collaboration for reaping maximum benefits of blue economy. Bangladesh believes that the regional vision for blue economy must be supported by a balanced integration of economic, social, and environmental elements of development. Bangladesh is the current chair of Indian Ocean Rim Association. Bangladesh is also the current president of the Council of International Seabed Authority. Apart from that, we are member of the regional initiatives such as BIMSTEC, BBIN, etc. Bangladesh promotes regional cooperation in fisheries management, sustainable utilization of marine resources, environmental protection, and disaster management, many other sectors to these regional organizations. Ladies and gentlemen, this year 2022, Japan and Bangladesh are celebrating 50 years of bilateral diplomatic relations. Since Bangladesh's independence, Japan has been playing a pivotal role in the development of Bangladesh. Bangladesh aspires to become a developed country by 2040. Japan has been consistently contributing to attaining this dream through its significant investment in the Bay of Bengal, industrial growth belt or Big B. Japan's vision on a free and open Indo-Pacific ensure peace and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific region and beyond through establishing a free and open order based on the shared values and principles such as the rule of law, echoes with the vision that Bangladesh has on the Indo-Pacific. Distinguished guest, I acknowledge that there is a need for a sustained dialogue among scholars, practitioners, and policymakers to identify delivery on various challenges confronting the region, identify mechanisms to address those, and evolve new frameworks for cooperation with the regional countries. I firmly believe that this conference will generate sustained dialogues on challenging issues that the nations in this region are facing. With this, I conclude and thanks the organizers for arranging it. Thank you all for patient hearing. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu. ইকো হচ্ছে কেন? ইকো হচ্ছিল।
できることを光栄に思います。本年は日バングラデシュ外交関係樹立50周年という重要な年です。日本とバングラデシュは両国のよく似た国旗に象徴されるように、この50年間親密な関係を築いてきました。このような記念すべき年に、私もモメン外務大臣と2度にわたり会談を行うことができました。翻って世界を見渡せば、世界中で力による一方的な現状変更の試みや威圧が躊躇なく正面から行われ、国際秩序が揺らぐ事態に直面しております。そのような中で、自由で開かれたインド太平洋 FOIP の重要性はますます高まっています。FOIP は法の支配に基づく自由で開かれた国際秩序をインド太平洋地域に実現するというビジョンであり、地域世界の安定と繁栄に不可欠なものです。FOIP が掲げる法の支配や航行の自由といった基本原則の普及、定着、連結性強化を通じた開かれた経済的繁栄、平和と安定の確保といった取り組みは、バングラデシュが重視する持続的なブルーエコノミーの推進にも資するものです。バングラデシュは東南アジアとインド亜大陸を結ぶ要衝に位置し、地域の発展において重要な役割を果たす FOIP の実現に向けた重要なパートナーです。日本はベンガル湾産業成長地帯構想、いわゆるビッグ B 構想のもと、マタバリ新開港開発を含むさまざまなインフラプロジェクトを通じて、引き続きバングラデシュの LDC 卒業とその先のさらなる発展を後押ししていきます。また、この構想は帰国のみならず、周辺地域との連結性の強化を実現し、地域の発展に貢献していくものです。本日の会議では、持続的なブルーエコノミーの推進や連結性の強化、環境問題など、ベンガル湾が抱える諸課題への対応など、帰国のオーナーシップによる取り組みの中で、いかに我が国の協力を活用していくかといった点について、充実した議論が行われることを楽しみにしております。両国が新たな50年を歩み出すこの重要な節目に、日バングラデシュ関係をさらなる高みへと引き上げ、自由で開かれたインド太平洋を実現していくべく、本日のご臨席の皆様にも引き続きご協力をいただければ幸いです。どんのばありがとうございました。
I thank the Honorable Foreign Minister of Japan, His Excellency Mr. Hayashi Yoshimasa, for his kind words and his exhortations and inspirations delivered through his address to us. Indeed, as he highlighted, and as our Foreign Minister said, we are celebrating this year, the 50th anniversary of the establishment of relations between Japan and Bangladesh. Japan has been a steadfast friend, partner, and supporter of Bangladesh's efforts to raise itself up, and we are at this stage largely because of very critical infrastructure projects that Japan undertook to help us with. We are very pleased with the presence of His Excellency Dr. Shunami, who arrived with his team only well, some of them arrived earlier, he arrived last night. They visited Matarbari. Matarbari is going to be a game changer insofar as Bangladesh's efforts to be a leading bridging nation between the Eastern and Western hemispheres are concerned. And here I would like to emphasize that historically we have been a bridging nation and played a bridging role. Throughout history, from the time when we have recorded evidence available from the 4th century, we connected Eastern and Western civilizations to each other. We facilitated passage. And therefore, what His Excellency, the Foreign Minister of Japan said, we are here to facilitate connectivity. Without connectivity, there can be no people and people contacts, there can be no trade, there can be no development. This is how civilizations civilization spread. We facilitated in the spread of ideas and our culture across from here. Buddhism traveled from here to Southeast Asia and to China. We were a prosperous nation until 75 years ago when we threw it away. We are slowly trying to regain our place in the sun, and we thank Japan for the efforts, the Herculean efforts that it has made to help us to come to this place where we are about to now graduate to middle-income country. I now will request our guest of honor, the Honorable Dr. Atsushi Tsunami, to develop his address. Thank you.
Good morning and greetings to all the distinguished special guests, panelists, and dear friends. Thank you, Ambassador Tarikari, for co-hosting today's international conference titled Ensuring a Sustainable Blue Economy in an Open and Interconnected Indo-Pacific Region. Also, I extend my gratitude to the honorable chief guests, namely Dr. Abdul Momen, Honorable Foreign Minister, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Bangladesh, and my old friend, Mr. Hayashi Yoshimasa, Honorable Foreign Minister of Japan. All the distinguished guests of honor and special guests present here for sharing their valuable time with us. First, I want to acknowledge the celebratory Golden Jubilee of the Bangladesh-Japan diplomatic relationship. Over these years, both nations have been great friends to each other, and it needs no saying that we look forward to strengthening this relationship in the future. For nations such as Japan, which has a rich history of diplomatic relationships across countries, issues of interconnection and regional collaboration are the most important. We operate as a bridge between peoples, countries to our west and east, now and throughout history. Our country has always been embraced the ideology of peace and centered and concentrated on the maintaining productive and healthy connections with all nations, especially our friends in the Indo-Pacific. This diplomatic relationship tracks long back. Right after their independence in 1971, both countries set up embassies in each other country in less than a year. In 1991, the Meghna Bridge of the Bangladesh was constructed with Japan's assistance. In 1998, the Jammu-Bangladesh Bridge was also built with Japan's aid. In 2014, Japanese Prime Minister Abe's visit to Bangladesh launched the Big B initiative between the two countries. Now, both countries celebrate the Golden Jubilee of all these years of successful diplomatic relationships. Here, I would like to note the need for a strong collaboration between two nations towards the free and open Indo-Pacific, FOIP. FOIP serves as a catch-all for the regional agendas of nations with interconnected interests. Japan's FOIP concept has thus far proven incredibly successful. Japan engaged in a tactical hedging, incorporating responses from neighboring governments and involving the FOIP idea over the time through ambiguous diplomacy. Multilateralism is the foundation of present international legitimacy. Therefore, Japan has forged global alliances that can fend off rivals on the rise, especially our neighbor, China, thanks to this diplomatic approach. The Bay of Bengal is the source of sustenance for more than 1 billion people and the legacy of the interconnecting history of the Bay of Bengal is embedded in people's memories, habits, and everyday practices. Pivotal importance of the Bay of Bengal is tightly linked to the rapid economic growth of the major powers involved in the Bay. The Bay of Bengal, a web of maritime highways, as well as chessboard of relationships and mobilities, mobilities is a vital region for several countries, both littoral countries such as Bangladesh, India, Myanmar, Thailand, Sri Lanka, and a landlocked Bhutan, Northeast India, and Nepal. Hitherto, often litigated to the global peripheral conception, this maritime commons between South Asia, Southeast Asia, the Bay of Bengal can be seen as the noble crossroad and a cultural hub for a network of exchanges and contacts of diverse kinds. The Bay of Bengal is becoming more and more strategically significant for many countries with ever-increasing trade and energy demands. The sea lines of communications that meet here and their protection have assumed global and regional importance and priority. Bangladesh has made a blue economy and ocean governance into a national priority, creating a national coordinator for the blue economy. It has also played a significant role on these issues regionally, convening meetings and helping us set the agenda on maritime issues in regional organizations such as the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation, BIMSTEC, and the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, SAC, and the Indian Ocean Rim Association, ARORA. From a geostrategic point of view, Bangladesh is highly significant to Japan, mainly because of its location next to the Bay of Bengal. Japan has been obliged to include South Asia as a critical aspect of its strategic diplomatic agenda because of the geostrategic demand for this area, growing in recent years. Given that Japan imports a significant share of its raw materials from the Middle East to fulfill its industry's demands, and roughly 80% of its maritime trade is carried through this sea trade route. The Indian Ocean has mainly emerged as a lifeline for Japan. Moreover, the Bay of Bengal is the home to abundant marine life resources. It holds the key to energy security, which would benefit the development prospects of all Bay littoral nations and neighboring states. Importantly, it's successful to the typical dangers of its ecological health and integrity that were previously mentioned. Now, when it comes to our partnership with Japan and Bangladesh, I have to say that it has always been a fruitful journey as presently. We celebrate 50 years of friendship and diplomatic relations with each other. At this onset, I want to acknowledge and emphasize the essence and the importance of these dialogues to our civil society, academics, and policymakers, and our students. We hope these conversations will help stimulate their minds and instill better awareness and understanding of the myriad problems that abound so that they are better to face the challenges of the world today and help make them better global citizens. Finally, the Sasaka Peace Foundation, SPF, established in 1986, has worked since its inception to advance international exchange and cooperation. As a private Japanese foundation, we strive to strengthen the cooperation at all levels between Japan and other countries. We hope that this international conference will be fruitful and lead to the realization of a blue economy in the Bay of Bengal through future collaborations between two countries. And lastly, I'd like to thank you for very much for your kind support for Japan in current World Cup in Qatar. You can imagine that I was flying from Germany directly through Japan to Bangladesh while the Japan was fighting, playing against Germany. So the kind of atmosphere that I had in the aircraft of Lufthansa was a very tight one. But the minute I arrived here in Bangladesh, everybody welcomed me with the words of congratulations, the Japan beat Germany. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tsunami, for your very, very warm and kind words, and also your words of inspiration for this conference. I have great honor and pleasure now in welcoming my good friend, our special guest, His Excellency Mr. Ito Naoki, the Ambassador of Japan, to say a few words to us.
Thank you very much. Our chief guest, Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen, Honorable Foreign Minister of Bangladesh, Foreign Minister of Japan, Mr. Hayashi Yoshimasa, Dr. Atsushi Tsunami, President Sasakawa Peace Foundation, Dr. Tomonari Akamatsu, Director, Ocean Policy Research Institute, Ambassador Tariq Korim, Director, Center for Bay of Bengal Studies, Independent University, Bangladesh. Distinguished guests, participants, students, faculty members, Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, or good afternoon, good morning still. So, ohayo gozaimasu. So it gives me great pleasure to be present at this event, ensuring a sustainable blue economy in open and interconnected Indo-Pacific region. I think this is my third or fourth event to attend here at IBU on similar theme. So first, IUB, my embassy, and Indian High Commission co-organized the event on Indo-Pacific. That was March last year, March 2021. Yes, that was first. But since then, IUB has been organizing conferences and seminars on a related topic. So one was the joint online seminar with Sasakawa Peace Foundation, I remember. But this is my fourth event to attend here. And as earlier speakers talked about, this year Japan and Bangladesh are celebrating 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations. So it is really timely and significant joint endeavor between Center of Bay of Bengal Studies, Independent University Bangladesh, and the Sasakawa Peace Foundation. So this event is taking place only a few days after Bangladesh successfully hosted IORA, Indian Ocean Rim Association Council of Ministers. So in that sense, I think this conference has added a very strong significance to the approach of Bangladesh to blue economy. So I'm sure that Japan will have an opportunity to explore possible cooperation with Bangladesh in this particular area, the pursuit of blue economy by Bangladesh. November last year, during COP26, I had the chance to visit St. Martin Island, a beautiful southernmost island of Bangladesh, with ambassadors and high commissioners of Australia, EU, and the US. That I saw the impact of climate change. So we deliberately chose the timing to visit St. Martin during COP26 last year. So we noted residents were suffering from salinization of drinking water in a well. Also observed other issues like sea level rise, high tide, coral bleaching, and coastal erosion. I'm sure there is a similar situation affecting the coastal area of Bangladesh. So this highlights the adaptation to climate change is very, very important. Regarding coastal industries, aquaculture is relevant to developing our economic partnership. The export value of shrimp from Bangladesh to Japan is the third largest after textile and leather. Shrimp farming has gained growing interest among Japanese companies, and we will continue to work for the sustainability of the fishing industry. So in doing cooperation on adaptation to climate change, it's very important how you can attract and promote foreign direct investment and to ensure employment opportunities in coastal regions. We know there are untapped marine resources in Bay of Bengal. Japan frequently experiences the threat of typhoons, earthquakes, and other natural disasters. From our own experience, we understand the need for sustainable efforts in adaptation. Japan has a track record of supporting the blue economy overseas through JICA projects. JICA worked for salmon farming in Chile for 20 years since the late 1960s, which became one of the success stories of technical cooperation. Now, it is a big exporting industry in Chile. This is an excellent example that with a specific business interest, technical assistance by development agencies is more clearly focused and effective. In Bangladesh, as part of its support of the blue economy, JICA is planning to extend grant aid to the fishing industry in Cox's Bazar from next year. This project will upgrade the jetty, fish unloading site, and cold storage facilities at the Fishery Center of Bangladesh Fisheries Development Corporation, BFDC. The idea is to improve the quality of caught fish and reduce the discard rates. Dr. Momen talked about Bangladesh's willingness and readiness to accede to Hong Kong Convention in the context of shipbuilding industry. I do welcome Foreign Minister's very positive remark on accession to Hong Kong Convention. Japan stands ready to extend cooperation. The ship recycling industry of Bangladesh, particularly the TSDF, this waste management facility. So that is something we will be discussing, will be materializing down the line in the very, very near future. It is important to prioritize where resources should be invested. Japan has been focusing on the development of southern Chattogram area. There is a good reason to do so. We have the Matabali deep sea port as our flagship corporation. Under the Big B, Bay of Bengal Industrial Growth Belt Initiative, Matabali will be the region's hub of transport, energy, and industrial development. Bangladesh will take advantage of its geographical location and fulfill its growth potential through the Big B initiative. As Foreign Minister of Japan, Mr. Hayashi said, the Big B concept aims to develop the region not only through infrastructure development, but also by enhancing connectivity. The country will boost connectivity in the Bay of Bengal region, benefiting India, including Northeast, and surrounding countries. Once Matabali port functions, Japan will extend such practical cooperation to Bangladesh in pursuing a free and open Indo-Pacific FOIP, which is a vision of peace and prosperity in the entire Indo-Pacific region. I know Bangladesh and EU came up with this phrase on Indo-Pacific, saying free, open, inclusive, peaceful, secure, and rule-based Indo-Pacific with shared prosperity for all. So we talk about free, open Indo-Pacific. Only a couple of days ago, EU and BD Bangladesh talked about free, open, inclusive, peaceful, secure, rule-based Indo-Pacific. So the number of adjectives may be slightly larger, but because of that, I think the concept is better explained. We fully agreed with this concept with many adjectives of Indo-Pacific. But the idea is to pursue free and open Indo-Pacific for prosperity and development for all in the region. I would like to emphasize that as we cooperate with the government of Bangladesh in building deep sea port, the development of this region as a hinterland must take place. Southern Chattogram projects will include the development of agriculture and fishery sectors, addressing the need for blue economy. We should also bear in mind that the region bears the shoulder of sheltering Rohingya refugees. Before concluding my remarks, I wish to mention that in recent COP27, Japan announced the assistance package for averting, minimizing, and addressing loss and damage to provide comprehensive assistance. This package includes the launch of a new and additional initiative to promote the development of early warning systems in the Asia-Pacific region through public-private partnerships. We can support the blue economy from a loss and damage perspective as well. In conclusion, let me reiterate that Japan will continue to stand by Bangladesh in the country's development journey. Thank you very much. Since Japan and Bangladesh are time-tested friends, and Japan and Bangladesh are partners in realizing free and open Indo-Pacific. I look forward to working closely with the government and the people of Bangladesh to build a win-win partnership for our prosperous future. I wish this conference to be a great success. Thank you very much. সবাইকে অনেক ধন্যবাদ. Thank you so much.
Excellency, Mr. Ito Naoki, আপনাকে অনেক ধন্যবাদ. You have been a staunch friend of Bangladesh, and during the time that you've been here, I've seen you tirelessly and ceaselessly work to advance our two countries' relationship. And I welcome the announcement that you made that Japan has made a commitment to the efforts at COP27 to bridge the gap between the developed and developing countries. I had the occasion of visiting the Japan Pavilion. I was there for a few days. And what struck me most palpably to the eye was, the first thing I saw was Mitsubishi's development of the hydrogen power generator. When we are talking about reducing global warming, this, I think, is the solution when we try to veer away from fossil fuel to clean energy generation. Our Honorable Prime Minister declared that we will move away from all coal-powered stations. However, we will still be hostage to that because of the requirements for power to generate our industrial growth and industrial revolution and our ambitions. But the transition will be easier when we have assistance, and Japan has been not only the hub, but it has given birth to so many new ideas that has helped to transform the world. And I think in this, we and Japan are very similarly placed because we are hostage to the elements. We know how to face the elements, and we know how to stand up to them. Thank you very much, sir. You mentioned about the free and open, inclusive, peaceful Indo-Pacific. And I was going through some papers yesterday for another conference. And the early years of Bangladesh, when I was in the foreign ministry, Bangabandhu, the father of the nation himself, envisaged at that time that we need to address our resources in the Bay of Bengal. We need a free and open Indian Ocean as a zone of peace, friendship, and cooperation. And we have stood by those founding principles ever since. We endeavored to make the Bay of Bengal conflict-free. He actually initiated the talks for resolving the maritime disputes way back in 1973. Time intervened, but I'm happy to say that today the Bay of Bengal is perhaps one of the few, if not the only, oceanic zone which is conflict-free. And in a sense, our commitment to a rules-based order governing these commons is what will keep driving us forward, because we recognize upholding the integrity of these commons requires working together, but it is existentially important for our own survival as a nation state. You mentioned about us being, Dr. Tsunami mentioned, at the crossroads of the Indo and Pacific. If I may be permitted to extend that, we live in an oceanic world. This planet of ours maybe would have been named Oceania by a visitor from outer space if he had seen it for the first time, because it is 71% oceanic. It's only 29% land. And in this oceanic planet, the Indian Ocean is called by geographers on Earth as the Great Middle Bay. Why the Great Middle Bay? Because you have the Pacific on the east, it's the vast Pacific. You have the Atlantic on the west, which is not as vast, but very, very large. You have the Arctic on the north, and you have the southern or Antarctic on the south. And in between, right at the center, is the Indian Ocean. Now, if I were a visitor, I'm intrigued by this. I zoom in, and I see the Bay of Bengal as the central middle bay in this Great Middle Bay. So in a sense, the Bay of Bengal is at the epicenter of the oceanic world. And the Indo-Pacific basically links, all the oceans are linked. It's the Bay of Bengal which links what I alluded to earlier, the east and the west. So we will be subject to great pressures and vulnerabilities, but we are the legatees of an inheritance which places on us a great responsibility to try and keep these waters used collaboratively by all the countries around us, and to ensure that they remain waters of peace, connectivity, and development for all of us. I'm happy to welcome our second special guest, Rear Admiral Shahjahan, the NDC chairman of the Chittagong Port Authority. He has arrived from Chittagong, I think, only today, and he has had to navigate through he's an ocean-faring man, but he has had to navigate through the tough traffic of Dhaka to be able to reach us. He is a featured speaker in our first thematic session, but he kindly agreed also to say a few words at the opening session. Rear Admiral Shahjahan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Indeed, it is a great honor and pleasure for me to be present here today in front of this august gathering in a very beautiful university auditorium, that is the Independent University of Bangladesh, and where a lot of distinguished guests is on the floor and also on the dais. Today, the subject is very important and pertinent especially for Bangladesh, where Bangladesh is striving to explore the untapped resource of Bay of Bengal, that is the blue economy. I had been listening this word about the blue economy since long, from the beginning of my career in Bangladesh Navy since 1984. But we are yet to harness the resources with its full extent. Now we are just only harnessing few fish species from the Bay of Bengal. But it is a very small area, it is a small portion of the blue economy. Since our independence, our father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, he is the man who has laid the foundation of our blue economy by enacting the Maritime Zones Act, Territorial Waters and Maritime Zones Act 1974. When the UNCLOS was not in conception, it was not in the thought, it came in 1982. He is the man who has seen the future. The future lies in the bay, in the ocean. So he has enacted this law. And since independence, Japan with us in the development as one of the biggest development partner of Bangladesh. We have very long history with Japan. Let me just focus on our history. Let us go back to the Second World War. One of our son of this soil, his name is Radha Binod Pal, who was the Chief Justice of Kolkata High Court. But he was initially, in 1941, he was appointed as the law advisor of India. And subsequently, he was appointed as the Chief Justice of Kolkata High Court. And then also he was appointed as the Vice Chancellor of Kolkata University. And from there, he retired in 1946. And then, after the Second World War, when the International Maritime Tribunal was formed after after the war, and he was one of the 10 justices in Tokyo Tribunal, which was known as Tokyo Tribunal. And he was the man who stood up to say right thing in the right forum, and during his verdict, he took a very strong side in favor of justice and peace. He supported Japan. All of the 9, hearing his all logic, only the French justice, he took little bit on his side, but all other named him as the collaborator of the other, against the, he is working against the Allied forces or something like that. But subsequently, everybody agreed with him, and he stood in favor of Japan and ensured that justice is done. And Japan, the Emperor of Japan in that time, he acknowledged his cooperation, and because he was fighting for the peace, real peace. It was not one-sided. He was the man who stood for the peace, world peace, not one-sided. What sometimes we see that peace is not in a general form. It is maybe for some sect of people or maybe some people of some particular area. But peace has to be equally applicable for all. So he stood for the peace for everyone, the justice for everyone, rule of the law for everyone. So since then we have our very good relation with the Japan, and you will be happy to know that Japan government has given him the highest possible honor. There is the order of the exact what order of the rising sun exactly, and I was trying to recollect the Japanese word exactly what was that. So and also against him after his name there is a road also in the Japan, in the Tokyo. So he requested Japan not to fight any more war and only to work for the peace, and Japan is always for the peace and tranquility of all the in the world. So our father of the nation, he had been also working for the peace, and since then, since our independence, our father of the nation, he has visited Japan, and Japan government also has supported in our development program, especially in the Bay of Bengal. You see, the Bay of Bengal is a region where we are working, we are living in a peace than any other maritime zones of the world. Almost in all the maritime zones of the world, you will find there is a lot of conflict, lot of dispute, lot of bone of contentions among the neighboring states. But it is only the Bay of Bengal where we are living with peace and tranquility. We might have some difference of opinion, we might have some sort of internal problem, but we accommodate everything bilaterally. So this is the thing that I want to mention, that the friendship between Bangladesh and the Japan will last long, and it is a time-tested friendship. Japan is presently, I would acknowledge the statement of His Excellency, the Japanese ambassador here. He has mentioned about Big B initiative and also the Matarbari deep sea port and also the Matarbari coal-based power plant. This is one of the important and finest project what is going on. At present, I will invite some of you, all of you, to visit the Matarbari. It is a magnificent city, magnificent port is developing what we don't see normally. If you go there, you will find another, what sometime I mentioned, the mini Singapore is developing in that area. And it is being financed by the JICA, and it is being implemented by the finance and technologically supported by the JICA. And it is coming up, and you will find the element of blue economy, how it is developing there. And the Matarbari will be the future hub for the energy, technology, and also for the maritime industry over there. And in the Matarbari area, you will find especially the marine resources, the fish population, in different sort of fish population, what His Excellency has mentioned about the St. Martin's Island. St. Martin's Island, we need to protect it, you know. It is one of the assets for us. It is what should I say? It is a place where we can be proud of it, that we have a small tiny island having full of coral and other natural beauties. We have to preserve it. Nowadays, a lot of tourists are going, but we have to control the tourism. That tourism has to be controlled tourism. That we have to ensure. And the number of people it is visiting in that area, it is very difficult to take the load of this much of people. And there is what he has said, the shortage of drinking water, but that can be converted from the sea water to the normal drinking water. It is possible now, technologies are available. But if you go there, you will find the lobster, the coral, the shrimp. There are shrimp trawler out there, you know. The shrimp trawler, they catch the shrimp from the bottom of the sea. Shrimp normally they do not come up. It remains on the bottom of the sea. So that is a very prospectus, the area, one of the area where we can look for the lot of marine resources which can earn huge amount of foreign currency for Bangladesh. Normally the fish or the shrimp or the lobster which we catch from those area, normally it is not sold in Bangladesh market, you will find hardly, but those are going abroad. So besides that, we have to protect our marine resources, you know. The hundreds and thousands of foreign fishing trawlers are coming. As good as it is coming from down to the Taiwan. From those areas that there are some trawlers are coming. They are coming with a big fish processing plant. Ship is having a big fish processing plant. Coming with 20, 30 fishing trawler, and they are catching fish and processing at sea and moving, taking it to their own country or place of their market. But sometime naval ships or Coast Guard vessel, they chase them, we can catch only one or two. They leave one and they move with all other vessel. So this is the thing, we have to have adequate number of fishery protection vessels so that we can protect our fisheries and also marine resources in the deep sea. And we hardly catch any sort of deep sea fishing, you know. Most of our trawlers are doing fishing in the within the 50 meters of the waters, you know. But there is still within our exclusive economic zone is up to 200 nautical mile. We can go up to 200 nautical mile. We can harness the fish from there. But we need to have a lot of support, technological support, and also investment in this particular sector, where I think Japan can help us in investing in this particular sector. A lot of people are coming in nowadays in this particular sector, but due to investment or due to technological know-how, people are a little bit shy to go there, or a little bit thinking it is too much risk, and they are not investing in those particular area. However, this is the first session. I am just concluding here. Maybe there are some other people who will be talking on that. But I will be talking on my second session, the 10-week session one. In that particular session, I will be discussing about the maritime, how we can make Bangladesh a sub-regional hub to make it a shipping friendly area where the Bangladesh can tap billions of dollars to enrich its foreign currencies up, and also to develop its own shipping, direct shipping from Chittagong to the European countries, from the Far Eastern countries to the American destination, also to the Middle East. It is possible. We have already started our journey. Now we have to make it sustainable. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you, Admiral Shahjahan, for your words. And I think you also, along with Ambassador Nawaki, raised a couple of very, very important points. Ambassador Nawaki mentioned about the St. Martin's Island. Now, there's a coral formation taking place, has been taking place, and if we had been able to address this earlier, it would probably have developed into a coral reef. Coral reefs in the world occupy less than 1% of the oceanic expanse, but they support over 50% of marine species. And you might wonder how this is so. Because on coral reefs grow the little algae. The algae is the food for the tiniest fish in the food chain in the marine species. And if they cannot get the food, they will die. If they die, 10 other species dependent on that little fish will also die. And so there is a cascading effect which affects everybody. And those of you who are students here or looking into environmental studies need to study. The coral formation in St. Martin's Island is endangered by several things. One of them, of course, is what Admiral Shahjahan mentioned. Too many tourists going, too many ships going, ballast being dumped. That's one form of pollution. The other is natural. It is formed right at where all the silt from the two river systems come down. And if the silt covers that reef, the reef cannot develop. We have to, Bangladesh government, perhaps Japan can help us, others can help us, take ways of how to protect the reefs from being covered by the silt, divert the silt elsewhere, let the reefs continue. And of course, you mentioned the point that we have a vast economic zone in our waters, but we are not able to even harvest 10% of it. That is because of lack of technology, lack of capability, and ability to go further. But I would like to just take briefly mention here two things. The theme of this conference is ensuring sustainable blue economy in an open and interconnected. We have dealt on the open and interconnected quite adequately. What we need to also dwell on a little bit more is addressing or harvesting the blue economy in a sustainable manner. I think the key word here is sustainable. We need such resources to sustain ourselves, the present generation, but we should not over-harvest in a manner which is profligate, irresponsible, and will not leave something for our future generations. Nature has a vast ability to renew and replenish itself, but we have to give time to nature to do that renewal. And if we don't give the time, ultimately nature loses the battle for renewal. And if nature dies, we die. That is the stark message. It's not scientific, but it is in a sense, those of you who look at it intuitively will understand it. So this inaugural session will be followed by two thematic sessions. The first session today afternoon, chaired by eminent economist Dr. Zaidi Sattar of the Policy Research Institute, will be a panel discussion on the role of MIDI and Big B towards creating a sustainable blue economy in Bangladesh. The second thematic session tomorrow morning will feature a panel discussion on sub-regional connectivity in the Bay of Bengal between its South and Southeast Asian littorals and adjacent states, and I would say even beyond. We hope that most of you, if not all of you, I do hope all of you will be able to attend all the sessions or some of the sessions. Before I conclude, I would now like to call on the head of our partner organization, Dr. Tomonari Akamatsu, the director of the OPRI of the Sasakawa Peace Foundation, to kindly deliver his vote. Thanks.
Thank you. As a part of organizer, I wish to express a special thank you and also appreciation for all. And first of all, they are very much kind of warm and heartful welcome remarks by the Professor Nazil, Ahmad, and Khan. Thank you really so much. And also from both of the Honorable Foreign Ministers, His Excellency Dr. Abdul Momen from Bangladesh, and His Excellency Hayashi Yoshimasa from Japan. Both of them are emphasized about the 50th year celebration, and also the very much strong bonding and connection between both of the countries. So really, thank you so much for nice messages. And His Excellency Tsunami Atsushi, the President of Sasakawa Peace Foundation, and His Excellency the Ito Naoki, Ambassador of Japan to Bangladesh, they delivered a very importance of the free, open Indo-Pacific Ocean and also Bay of Bengal. And also His Excellency Rear Admiral M. Shahi Jahan, importance of the peace and security of the Bay of Bengal as well. And lastly, the special thanks for the moderator and ambassador, His Excellency Tariq Khan. Really, thank you so much. And also the organizers of this kind of stuff and the students to make this fantastic symposium happens of the IUB. And lastly, thank you for all of the audience, especially for young generations, to joining this really conference. And I hope you all enjoy this conference of less of 2 days. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So now we will take a group photo. So I'm requesting my OPRA colleague, please come on the stage. Yeah. So we have two announcements. So our all guests are invited to take lunch in our multipurpose hall, and student will follow also the lunch. Mr. Ashi will declare. Yeah. Okay, now we will have the group photo. Yeah. Ishida-san, please. Yeah, yes, of course, definitely.
Dear students, please remain seated to allow our honorable guests to head to their designated locations. And after they have left the venue, we will direct you to the location where we are offering you the lunch, and our volunteers will guide you. Thank you. Please remain seated for a while. Please let our guests take their designated locations. Thank you. Thank you so much.
We are really happy because আপনি স্যার আমাদের মাতারবাড়ি খুব ভালো ছিল আমরা he is the man to come for the chairman who gives the permissions when they have yes matabari so he's a